Today's sponsors are Angelo's Interiors, specialising in kitchens, bedrooms and bathrooms. Go and visit their showroom today in Gillingham. Their web address is angelosinteriors.com. And De Medici Associates, Chartered Structural and Civil Engineers.
Based in the UK with a worldwide reach.
Visit their website on demediciassociates.com. Welcome to the Cherrywood Podcast.
With me, Simon Barrage, by himself. Car going past. Hello everyone, how you doing? Simon here, Cherrywood Productions. By myself, unfortunately my lovely wife, Rachel, had a little operation yesterday and it's gone into a couple of complications. She's fine, so don't worry, she's all right, but she's got to stay in hospital for a bit longer. So our normal Monday podcast where we chat and just talk bollocks to each other is going to be cut very short, unfortunately. What I do have though for you guys is an interview that I did about 3 years ago, when I released the Tab Theory, which is that stupid comedy we keep going on about far too much. But it's quite a good interview. Goes on for quite a while, so it'd be ideal to, as a stocking filler for you, to fill up this time instead of Rachel and I talking bollocks. So just so you know, this Friday we've got Hayden Griffiths on the podcast. He'll be in and he'll be talking to you guys about mindset coaching, Australia, his early years, what got him into mindset coaching. He was also a tree surgeon. Really good chat, actually, about the bugs and all the creepy crawlers and things you have in Australia. So, yeah, I'm going to cut this short. I would like to thank you all so much for your viewing the podcast and listening to the podcast collectively, including the little shorts that you get on YouTube and Insta and places like that. We've got over 60,000 views. So that's amazing considering we've only been going for a month. So we'd like to thank you for that. I'm sure you're sending Rachel all your love, and she is fine, honestly. She just needs to sort of something that's been lingering a bit too long. All right. And hopefully next week we'll be back with Rachel and I talking bollocks on a Monday. All right. We've got enough other guests to cover a few weeks anyway, so that's not going to be an issue. The Friday podcast will be absolutely fine. All right. So take care, guys. Love you all, I think. You don't know you all, but I'll say I love you all. All right. Bye.
All right. Congratulations, Simon, for your brilliant movie. And it was fantastic. It's well-paced and character-driven movie. And tell us, why the title, The Tab Theory?
Okay. Now, from what I've heard, if a company or BBC or something like that are going to take an idea from you, the first thing they want is the title. So I didn't spend too much time choosing the title. Now, the Tab Theory is based around the flashback scene. And in the flashback, one of the characters shows the other character a bottle of Tab Clear. Now, Tab Clear came out in the early 90s, around where the flashback was. And it's basically a bottle of Coke, but it's clear. So he was basically inspired by this clear bottle of Coke. So he wants to be a scientist when he grows up. So this inspiration of him seeing a clear bottle, which should be like a dark bottle of Coke, is his inspiration to try and invent invisibility.
That's quite a leap. That's quite a leap.
Of course, yeah, it's quite a leap.
The movie currently, it's around 30 minutes. I mean, is it going to be a feature film or a pilot for a series?
It's a pilot.
Where are you heading with it?
Episode 1 pilot.
Okay.
So I would say about eight episodes per season. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
I plan on 2 seasons. That's what I've got forward planning for.
All right. Yeah. That's fantastic. I mean, you are a videographer of repute. I mean, you shoot weddings, social parties, events like that. And now you're going into movie making, series making. I mean, Where's the interest? Why the interest?
I've always been very creative, and wedding videography is where I started off. I'm fully self-taught. I started wedding videography in 2000, and taught myself everything, learned a lot. Everything was in auto at the very start, on the camera settings.
Yeah.
And while we had lockdown and with the coronavirus going on, there are no weddings. I thought I was in an industry that any recession, you still have weddings. And I'm a mechanical engineer for Kimberly Clark, who make Andrex.
Oh, all right.
And once again,
you're still a mechanical engineer.
I'm still a mechanical engineer.
Wow, that's interesting.
For Kimberly Clark, and now CBRE, a contracting firm there. But I've been there for 30 years, the same mill for 30 years. And in my head, it's because you can't buy an app that wipes your bum. You can, people are always going to need toilet roll. Unless there's a boost in B-days, which I very much doubt, you can never buy an app that wipes your bum. You can buy a newspaper app, but you can't buy a toilet roll app. So I felt the same with weddings.
Okay.
And the only thing that proved me wrong was the pandemic. It completely proved me wrong. And so I spent that time with no weddings.
In what way did the pandemic prove you wrong?
Because the pandemic got rid of weddings when I thought nothing could get rid of weddings. You see what I mean? I like having jobs that involve that don't go away.
Even during the recession, there were still some few weddings, but the pandemic, the lockdown, just drove the market.
If there's a recession, people will still find a way of getting married.
Yeah.
But if you're not allowed out of your house, you can't get married.
Yeah.
So
it's really good because the great artists, the great artistic creations that I know of, most of them were created during crisis. Right. Look at Einstein. Look at James Joyce when he wrote the Dubliners, even his masterpiece. All these were written when Europe was in serious crisis, was during the Great War, and I was thinking that as people, as crises were happening here and there, these people were still thinking. They didn't allow those situations to drive them down. Rather, they used them to actually fuel their imagination and created something. And I see that in you as well.
I think it's a coping mechanism, really. You've got the pandemic here. What can I have? Because everyone's talking about the pandemic. That's all they're going on about. Okay. What can I do just to take my mind away from that for an hour a day? And that's maybe why they did it. I guess that's why I did it.
All right.
Just take your mind off the bad things, the wars and everything. Just take your mind. Do something a bit light-hearted.
Yeah.
And this is light-hearted. This is just. I like making people laugh. And even as an engineer, at Kimberly Clark, I've made people laugh. Yeah. And that was my goal. That's always been my goal in life. Yeah. So I just want to do something that was funny.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, Ted. You are a mechanical engineer, and how much of you is in Ted, and how much of Ted is in you?
Yes, right. I've never, quote, shoved my hand up a doll's arse, unquote. So, I've never been a ventriloquist. I'm a bass guitarist.
All right.
So
that's good to know
I do perform on stage. I still play bass every now and then.
All right.
And I've been in drum corps when I was younger and things like that. So I've always been music related and creative.
All right.
And I'm an engineer. So the thing we've got in common is we're both performers and we're both engineers.
All right, that's fantastic. So how does your engineering background, engineering skills, and skill set and knowledge, how does it drive your creativity or your movie making?
I think it helps my movie making because I was a project engineer. I was involved in projects at work, and I had a lot of help with this movie, but I did all the planning.
Okay.
And even tonight, I've planned all this, so I'm used to planning. And I feel that really helps. If you've got no planning in you can't make a movie.
You can't make it.
Make a movie.
Yeah. Does it help in the calculations of the angle shot or blink shot or the lighting? Does it help in such regards?
Not really. Obviously, you've got to know what time of day to shoot something outside because of the sun. And don't get me wrong, filming a wedding and filming this is two completely different jobs.
All right.
A wedding, I've got one chance. If they're coming up the aisle and I mess it up, I can't ask them to stop and go back. Two completely different jobs. So even though, yes, I'm filming and I'm editing, I see it as two completely different roles.
No, that's true. That's true. It's the same artist. I mean, some of the great actors and actresses on movie sets, they said theatre acting on the theater is much more difficult than acting in movies.
One chance.
Because it's all about one chance. That single chance. Once you blow it, that's it. But in movies, you can take 1, take 2, take 3, up to take N.
Exactly.
So, but in theater, you can't get it wrong. So I can see the same comparison, the same similarities there.
So when it comes to a wedding, I'm filming multiple camera angles for the ceremony.
Okay. Right.
I even film with a GoPro on my camera. So I have my normal camera with a GoPro on top, filming exactly the same angle. Because if the battery goes without me knowing, I've got a backup.
All right.
And touch wood, 20 years, I've never failed to produce a video for a bride and groom because of a failed camera or something like that.
Oh, that's good to know.
That's good to know. Touch wood, I'm still filming weddings, so I shouldn't have said that. But yeah, so it's little things like when you're driving to a wedding ceremony.
Yeah.
You don't just put all your cameras in one place in the car. So if you put your cameras in the boot, I make sure I've got cameras dotted around the car. So if I get rear-ended, I can still jump in a taxi and go and film someone's wedding. Where if you're going to a movie shoot and it happens, we just have to do another day. Unfortunately, So there's a lot more at stake with weddings, but it's. Unfortunately, you haven't got time to be as technical with your camera angles. So I learned a lot about lighting, and I failed with some of the lighting in this sitcom. Without a doubt, I did. And so, funny enough, some of the lighting failed on me and broke, halfway through. Yeah. But I've learned a lot from it.
Yeah, but generally they were really brilliant. I mean, there's a mixed balance between the outdoor shots and the indoor shots. Yeah. And I mean, I know that the indoor shots really calls for different kind of lighting beside the outdoor shot. I mean, walk us through. Some of the lighting strategies that you employed. Yeah,
it's a budget thing, really. Okay. I borrowed people's houses for those shots. So that was my cousin-in-law's house that we filmed in the living room and the kitchen. And the sun was beaming through her window. And she had no blinds or anything like that. And I knew that after the shoot there, they were going to do their kitchen. And I was like, would you like me to buy you some blinds for your new kitchen? No, we're not having blinds. I'm like, oh, no, I've got to deal with this sun coming through, you know what I mean? And I really wanted to block it out, but based on budget and things, I couldn't. So I had to try and make the room as bright as possible with a filter inside just to try and match the sun. And it's like trying to match the sun, it's impossible.
Yeah.
So obviously, those two shots, the living room and the kitchen, would have been far better off in a studio. But I've kept the budget down. The budget was under £5,000 for this episode.
But they were amazing.
Thank you.
They were really amazing. I mean, to me, the way I read it is that it actually dramatizes the life of Ted, which is going to be dark and pathetic. Yeah. He's a fragile character. But that lightning, it really brightened things up. Number one, I mean. Yes, we were, from the zooming shot that you used initially, which we are still going to come to, it really, set us up that, something dangerous is about to happen, something, not quite good is about to happen. It really set us up. Yeah. So, but once we got into the scene with the children and, it really bright, it was really, the children were really vibrant, they really acted it well, all the scenes were really bright. So to me, I saw it as a good contrast to the life of the loser Ted.
Yeah, so that scene was in my house. That was my kitchen. That was my window that kid was licking. And that is Lotus spread.
God, because I was about to ask you that. Is that chocolate, Nutella, or something else?
Lotus spread. That was Lotus spread, and it wasn't in the script. We decided to add it. I added it to the script a couple of days before. The script, regarding the script, 55 revisions.
Done 55. Yeah. Oh, well, that's good. Because when my kids saw that, they said, is that the thing we can't mention? I said, no, it can't be. You can't be enjoying it.
Lotus spread. We didn't even go for the fact that it looked like what you're thinking it looked like. It just happened to be the only spread, we had. So it looks like. It does make you think, has he had an... But that wasn't even an intention. But I thought, let's leave it in. You know,
Because
I just wanted to show a little bit of chaos.
Okay.
Yeah, and with limited amount of children. Remember, this was filmed in lockdown, so I had limited amount of people. The club scene, for instance.
Yeah.
The club scene.
Yeah.
I couldn't use more than, I think it was 20 people for the club scene.
Yeah, it worked.
I hope it did, because
it worked.
The problem you have when you're filming it and you've been in the environment and you're seeing beyond what the camera sees, you can't unsee that.
Yeah.
So it needs someone that wasn't there to know. Did that feel like it was reasonably busy? You know?
And the reason why it worked is the lighting, because the stage was lighting very well, but the audience, you darkened it. So it's only the members of the audience in front that you see, and it creates the impression there are still more people at the back.
Yeah, good.
So the lighting make it work.
It's exactly what we did, and it was filmed in here. So we had these lights shut off in stages. So we had the lights on at the end, and we just shut these ones off just to create a bit of depth. Like you say, just try our best to make it look like it was full when there was really 18 to 20 people sitting and watching it. You know,
Yeah, it really worked. It really worked. I mean, in this pilot, you were the director, you were the cast director, you were the producer, you were is this because of expediency, or you really enjoy being,
I love it. I love it.
It's really nice.
I love it, and I don't know personally. This is going to sound really unprofessional.
Yeah.
I don't 100% know the difference between a director, a producer, and a director of photography, because I did the lot, you know. And I just keep looking. I think, what is the, I don't really 100% know.
Yeah,
you know.
Maybe that's part of the new things that you are bringing into the field. The mere fact that you cross all the boundaries,
and I acted in it as well.
Yeah, and you acted in it. Maybe this is one of the reasons that's going to that's giving the pilot an edge, because you blunted all barriers. You just went through the whole thing like a colossus. I think that's one of the things that gave it a special edge. But okay, in terms of your strategy, your shot strategy, I mean, how do you plan your shot? How do you execute it? How do you use it to inform the narrative and drive the plot forward?
Okay, so for instance, when we first meet the magician, I purposely had that angle low to show some dominance in him.
Yeah.
I was once told by an old boss of mine years ago that he had to announce redundancies. And what he did is he made his chair as low as possible, and he made the people who was making redundant their chair as high as possible. So they showed a bit of dominance. So for once, he wasn't the dominant person. He was saying, unfortunately, you haven't got a job anymore, and that's what you got to do. If you want to show dominance, you have the upper ground, So that's what I was basically trying to achieve with that.
I think that's one of the best. That was one of the most powerful scenes and one of the best shots actually in the pilot. There are some other ones like the opening shots. They were also really good, but that one and the reaction shot. I mean, you just showed Ted, in a pathetic situation, and you would not just but sympathize with him, because he's a father of two. He is separated. Another man is now in charge of his house. Is Mrs. and also about to destroy his career that is growing.
And I kind of know how he feels, right? In a weird way, I know how he feels.
Triumphing.
Yeah.
Oh God, you just felt. Oh man, it was beautifully achieved.
Yeah. And those are my children. Those two kids are my children. And it breaks my heart every time my son turns around and says, "Bye, Dad," to Ted. I'm like, but he's not your dad. You know what I mean? And he knew he's 4 years old when we shot that, and he knew exactly what he was doing. I couldn't believe how good he was. He was like, I'll act that out for you. And if you watch him in that scene, my son is just perfect in it. You know?
They really pull it off.
They do pull it it off.
Your daughter as well.
That's my daughter,
your daughter and your son. Yeah, according to the credits, yes, daughter and son. They really added, you know, the allure to that scene. Yeah, and it's really fantastic.
For budget reasons and COVID reasons, they have 2 roles, so they're also dressed up. The spaceman is also my son, but with a lot longer hair. Yeah. And the ninja is my daughter.
Yeah. I've forgotten the name of this French philosopher that says that creativity flourishes when there are many constraints. It's not when there's freedom. It's not when there is, you know, abundance. But when there is constraints, that's when creativity flourishes.
That's very good. Yeah.
When you have all these budget constraints, you know, having to kind of multitask, having to kind of use your family, your own resource, your children for different things, I think it really brings a unique, you know, angle to the pilots.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually. Yeah. If you've got every resource at your hands, then it doesn't. There's a part of your brain that just switches off.
That's correct. Yeah. So it added creativity to it. One of the things I observe again about your planning your shots, which are fantastic as well. You know, the opening shot, I said, you know, you use this zooming shots, you know, towards the door, creating some tension, and then we see the economic loser Ted, you know, together with the children, and eventually when he was thrown out, right out of the house, the sequencing of the shot is also amazing. Then first of all, you showed the car silencer, then you then pan straight into the sky, then you then drop the tap theory, the title. That was really fantastic and amazing. Yeah, it's really good. Then I discovered that you use the same shot sequence when you're introducing Marvin, your character.
I did.
Yes. So that zoom-in shot. Yeah. Are you trying to say something there, or is it just coincidence?
I don't know if that's a bit of wedding editing in me.
Okay.
Welcoming you into the property.
Okay. All right.
You see what I mean? That's the way I looked at it. The first shot, originally wasn't going to be there. It was going to be straight into Ted. A close-up of Ted. Right, now let's tell you a story about Captain Blackbeard. That's how it was going to be. And I thought, would that work? No, I want to set the scene. So that's when I basically shot the front door, and we were trying to make balloons fly around. These balloons would not fly around. They would only drop to the floor. So that shot is actually a fixed shot with the balloons dropping to the floor, and then post-edit reversed, so the balloons gradually floating up, and then we zoomed it in post-edit.
All right. And it
to
worked.
Create a little bit of a party scene. So you just see the door at first. You don't even know it's going to be a party. Then you see a couple of balloons, and then you know what's going to happen. You know there's some sort of party going on. Then you hear the kids, and then you hear the story.
Yeah. It's really amazing. It's really amazing. Then you kind of doubled. You used the same shot sequence when we were introducing Marvin.
Just welcoming you into the.
I mean, zoom in tension, zoom in shot like that into a door like that, welcoming, because I was feeling, you know, I was almost quaking in my boots, like.
That's good. That's good. No, I like that. But I mean, like, with the Marvin, was you scared with the Marvin shot though? Because it was further out.
Yeah.
You were getting the whole house. Was that scaring you, moving in slowly on that shot?
Slowly, yeah.
Was that worrying you as well?
It was. I was like, I mean, if it's welcoming, how about, you know, I'm just thinking that, you know, like a reverse, like, you know, point the camera outwards, then start, you know, trolling it backwards. That's what I was thinking.
But there's lots of angles that can do it. It's just how you interpret
that's it. That's it. It's also about interpretation and the context.
My goal was you guys needed to know that was a kids' party in a house.
Yeah, that worked. That really worked. Yeah,
you know, and the goal for Marvin was you needed to know it was in some sort of manor house. You know, something was going on inside that manor house, and you wasn't sure what it was until the very last scene. Yeah. And by the way, that very last scene of when it pans to the, you know, I shot that. That's a real wedding, I shot that 5 years ago. And got permission from the bride and groom. Yeah. They basically literally just got married. He did this puzzled look at the camera, and I thought, That's perfect. Rather than, once again, COVID, I couldn't get a whole wedding party, a mock wedding party together. Okay. So that is actually a real couple getting married.
Yeah.
At Leeds Castle, I believe it is.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
They're only on screen for 3 seconds. So.
Yeah. And talking about the timing, in fact, setting this tone for the pilot in the beginning, I noticed that, many of the shots, in fact, almost all of them, they have average of maximum of 7 seconds before you cut. And it really set this tone for the pace. Yeah. Do you want to kind of talk about that more?
Well, when it comes to the script, my script is far longer. There was extra scenes with Sally the girl that throws the ball. He was going to go into her shop and chat about that, and the things between Sally and Marvin, because Marvin's doing a favour for Sally by filming that wedding. She was going to tell him that in the shop and everything, but you've got to keep these things down. You've got to keep scripts down to 30 pages if you're entering script competitions. You've got to keep them down to 30 pages. They say that a page equals a minute, and I was writing far too much, and so I had to bring it down. But I also needed to keep it pacey because you're introducing the audience to a brand new story.
So they really want, so you've
got to start going on. And even though the characters, apart from Ted and Ryan, were briefly in it, the other characters, you've got an idea of what they were about for future episodes. The two girls are going to be in a lot more episodes.
That's correct. That's correct. Because it's really kind of acting like a teaser for the future. It's like sort of keeping on the suspense, because that character of Sally is something that we want to see more.
Oh, definitely.
The character study is quite unique, because the first time we're going to see her, we first of all heard her, speaking on phone to Ted on the bed.
Yeah.
So then later on,
psychopath.
She just threw this thing at the bartender, and it was like, what's that? Like, how can she behave like that? I mean, like a videographer, we actually had to run through her background, like videographer. So tell us more about her.
I just wanted someone on the edge. I wanted the powerful character to be actually a female character.
Okay.
And she, in future episodes, is going to be really helping Ted get to the bottom of what he's going through.
Yeah.
So I want her to be one of the main characters. She will eventually, be a close friend. Like he says, when the titles come up, she helped him through his separation.
Yeah.
And she's going to help him through this.
We can't wait. We can't wait for us to see how she was able to help, because she has no empathy from what we've seen so far. So how is she able to help through the gap?
But if you listen to the end of the conversation, she is like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?"
Yeah.
But if you cross her, then you're a dead man. Which happened to Marvin, of course. She don't take no prisoners, but she has got some empathy.
Okay.
You just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm speaking for many of the viewers when I say the favorite character in the pilot is Marvin, because the costume just is just spot on. The gags, the jokes, it's just spot on. Was that deliberate? That's got to be you.
No, it wasn't deliberate going to be me. Do you know? I don't know if you've ever seen Extras. Have you ever seen Extras by Ricky Gervais?
Yes, I've seen Extras. Yes.
There's a guy in it called Bunny, who's a very camp guy.
Yeah.
I wrote it based on him and David Dickinson. David Dickinson, the antiques guy.
Yeah.
And that's how I wrote it. And we looked for someone. We were looking for a number of people, and no one sort of hit the mark. And then the guys helping me with the castings, I said to him, "Look, I'm going to record myself to give you a rough idea of what I'm after." So I recorded myself doing the scene in the house.
Yeah.
Sent it to them, and they said, "You've got to play Marvin." So there was no intentions of me.
Yeah, I know you're going to play till the very end of the series.
They said you've got to play Marvin.
No, it has to be, because you can't just wait but love that character.
Yeah. So my intentions are this could possibly get a bit more serious as it goes on.
Okay.
But Marvin will be that light entertainment that goes on throughout. Just to keep it. Just bring it back down, bring it back down to the, or bring it back, take it back up.
Take it back up.
Take it back up.
Yeah, and one of the things we would like to see later on, if it's part of the script, is how he could be Ted's agent being what he was in his previous career as
Yeah.
you know as
Yeah, he's basically got a crap agent. That's basically what it is. Yeah, he's got a crap agent. But that agent got him a talent scout. He got him a talent scout there to watch it.
Yeah.
And the talent scout obviously left just before things started heating up.
hot, yeah.
But he did his job. He got him a talent scout there. You know,
which is
his
great.
idea of he only wanted a talent scout for certain reasons, he got that scout there. So
there's something about Ted that is in all of us as we are, kind of journeying through life, trying to achieve our goals, life ambition, many failures at first, but we keep on striving, we keep on trying despite distractions, despite disappointments, and so on and so forth. It's really, there's something about him. So it's so easy at first to identify with him, and there was really almost no character in that pilot that's, seeing him for who he is, encouraging him, saying anything positive about him.
That's right. He's 30 years he's been trying to...
Yeah.
So 30 years he's been sticking to that. Yes, he's a mechanical engineer.
Yeah.
But his heart isn't in that.
Yes.
30 years he's been trying to make a success of being an entertainer. I don't even think he cares that it's a ventriloquism.
Yeah.
I just think he wants to entertain. That's his life,
Yeah.
And he just keeps getting hit with other things in his life that's affected
correct.
it.
That's correct. Yeah.
Because in theory, he's not that bad. He's not that bad a ventriloquist.
No, it's not.
But every time something important happens, like he gets an important gig, things have gone wrong.
Things go wrong. Yeah. So one could really empathize with him, feel for him. But the only character that seems to see him and say something positive about him is Rachel. Yeah. Eventually, at the end.
Yeah.
And, it was really shocking to us when he, started getting, some negative things to say about Rachel himself.
Yeah, but
Why
what was his last... the last time we see Rachel was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And she was this girl that was, you know what kids are like. They're horrible, aren't they? Kids don't care. They don't care about people's feelings.
Yeah.
So they thought she was ugly Rachel, and she was smelly and all this business. But Rachel was going through stuff at home that no one cares about when you're a kid.
That's correct. You don't know her background as well.
And you'll find out that she hasn't had a bad life. She moved away. That's why he's never bumped into her. She comes back. And she's doing okay. Yeah, she's separated, but this happens to everyone. And I think the shock is because she's now very pretty. She's pretty, and he's like, how can that be you? Because if you look at the dream, he imagines her to be some sort of witch type thing, crazy. Yeah. When she actually turns out to be pretty nice.
To be an angel.
So the last time we mentioned her was the arse picker.
Yeah, the arse picker when he was talking to.
So it just came out while he was shocked. Arse picker. So he blew that immediately.
Wow, it just felt. It's good that you're giving us the kind of background to Rachel as well now, because one could see why she was able to empathize with Ted, because she herself had some not so good, not so bright background. So when he saw him really struggling on the stage and all the disappointment and so forth, she could empathize.
Yeah.
So and she went and commended him.
On your first time round of watching that, would you have known that the girl in the audience had anything to do with the end?
No.
So if you re-watch it, you'll see that everyone else is booing. She's not booing.
All right. That is true.
We purposely, when it comes to the camera, we purposely didn't angle the camera on her at all.
Okay.
She was either the side of the shot, she was either in the background of the shot. When the comedian made a joke, she was centre, but she was just an audience member laughing at a joke.
Yeah.
But if you watch her, you re-watch it, and you see her in the audience, she's not booing or smiling, she's concerned for him.
All right. That's good to know. So that is a powerful story strand there for the next series then. Yeah. That's really good to know. Mr. Simon Burridge, what's your favorite movie?
It's a hard one. It's a hard one, but it's got to be, I would say, Pulp Fiction. I'm a mad Star Wars fan. Everyone's a mad Star Wars fan. But I love Pulp Fiction. Now, with Pulp Fiction, there's a part of me that wants to download it, and edit it in order. So yeah, and just call
Really?
it fiction.
All right.
You know?
Okay.
But-
Editing in order, as in sequentially, instead of having to be cyclical.
It's all over the place, isn't it? You know,
Yeah, but I think that's the
it's
reason why it
beautiful.
works.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It is beautiful. But it's a film. Why I love it so much. It's a film that I don't think my brain will be able to make like that. Yeah, I don't think I could handle.
Are you talking about the plot or the filming?
I'm talking about the timings being
Okay.
forward and back.
Yeah.
You know,
But-
because John Travolta dies towards the end.
Yeah.
No, he dies in the middle of the film.
Yeah.
Yet he's the final scene when they're walking
Yeah.
out the cafe. You know,
That's correct, yeah.
And just for him to think of doing it that way is amazing.
Yeah.
Because what he's done is he's made his life span the whole film.
Right.
When in theory he lasts half the story.
That's correct, yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you mean,
It's amazing.
yeah.
And things like Kill Bill, I remember he must be one of my favourite directors.
Hey, we've seen the fingerprints all over the Tap Theory. In your character introductions, you know, how you introduce all the characters, boom, this is
Yeah.
Ted Lewin.
And I don't think-
it's the same as in Kill
That's
Bill.
very strange, 'cause
Black free, eh?
I wasn't thinking of Quentin Tarantino when I did it.
But
I was just thinking
it's-
of how would I do a title, and that's what I thought.
Yeah.
And that's cool that it's come out like that.
Yeah,
That's cool.
it's buried in your subconscious,
But, you know-
such that when you start using it, you wouldn't even know that, you know, this is how it got into your subconscious.
Yeah.
But you could see Quentin Tarantino all over it, because look at your favorite film, your favorite film, Pulp Fiction. It's just similar because that was his own initial. That was
That's
his
his
own
style.
Yeah. And, you know, it was low budget because he was just trying to start off as a filmmaker.
Yeah.
And, you know, he made how much did he say?
And
I
look at
think it's less than 10,000.
Reservoir Dogs. It's
Yeah.
in one room.
Yeah.
It's in
It's
one.
one
The
room,
running
yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
They're going past the same shop about
Yeah.
3 times,
Yeah.
4 times.
Yeah.
But it's an amazing film.
It is.
Now, what I like about Quentin Tarantino, I think I've had a good life. You know, I've had a peaceful
Okay.
life,
Right.
and I've done a lot of things.
All right.
And so it doesn't. That takes a lot to make me excited.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? That
Yeah.
sounds weird,
Yeah.
but it takes a lot to get me excited.
Yeah.
And I remember watching Kill Bill and loving it. And then
Yeah.
Kill Bill 2 came out.
Yeah.
And then Uma Thurman said, "Then now I'm going to Kill Bill." And I actually got excited like a kid.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I thought to myself, this has got to be my favourite director. To make me
Hey.
feel like a kid.
That's
Just
true.
because she said that started it off.
That's true.
I just thought something good's coming. You
Yeah.
know? So yeah.
I think in terms of story writing, I think you are going to diverge from Quentin Tarantino simply because he likes his own storyline, the plot, to be circular, so
Yes.
that at the end of the whole thing you say, "Oh yeah, that's true." You know, that kind
Comes
of
back round.
yeah.
And I think I've got a bit of that in me,
Yeah.
actually, from what I showed you earlier.
All right, yeah, that's true.
Things come back.
That's true. Yeah,
Things
they
come
come back. They come back. He's the master of that.
Well, that episode comes back, doesn't
yeah,
it? From
yeah.
the Rachel straight away,
Yeah,
you know, at the end.
that-
So, yeah.
That's really fine. Then also the way you preferred the music to the score.
Yes.
The same,
Yes.
because if you look at the musical strategy of Quentin Tarantino's films, right, it's the same. Whether it's introducing the Commodores or the Comanches, yeah, in Pulp Fiction, it's the same way you've used Melinda.
It's
I
really...
mean, why Melinda?
Every part...
Tell us about the
Now,
musical
Melinda,
strategy.
I've known Melinda for 7 years.
Okay.
And 7 years ago, we needed a singer desperately.
Okay.
And we asked around on the internet. Melinda came up. Met us once. We ran through a whole set that we were doing on stage in Tunbridge Wells. She came along and nailed it, and we've been in contact with each other ever since. Not every year we say hi and Merry Christmas, Happy Birthday type thing.
Yeah.
But then I've listened to her music before, and sometimes she posts live.
Okay.
And I love listening to her live. But then I got into one of her albums, which was amazing, and
All right,
every
the new
track,
one. Yeah.
every track she nailed, every one of them.
Everyone, yeah.
And I thought, I've got to use this for my sitcom.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just as a theme tune.
Okay.
Every sound you hear in that, every
It's
piece of music is
Melinda.
it's where I've nicked it
Yeah,
from.
yeah. I mean, it shows in the credit. I was like, wow, there is no other
yeah.
musician at all. It's only
her.
Melinda,
It's only
Melinda
her. And
Otner, yeah.
because her genre is
Yeah.
from one end of the scale to the
That's
other.
correct. That's correct.
And
yeah.
she's talent.
Yeah,
She
she's
really
really
is.
she's really talented,
Yeah.
and in fact, the lyrics, yeah, the lyrics of Jezebella.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it also fits into the theme of the pilot.
They do,
Yeah.
they do, but they didn't originally. And,
Oh, right,
that's the
okay.
only downfall for her, really.
All right.
That,
In what way?
It was all she's.
Okay.
She does it, and
All
she.
right.
So what I did is I said, "Can you send me the instrumental?"
Oh,
She
okay.
sent me the instrumental, and I took the S off of the she. So he now he did it, and he, and then the next line was she.
Oh,
she.
okay, that's
So,
nice to know.
because I didn't want him jumping in the car, turning the car on, driving off,
Yeah.
with a load of she's.
Yeah. Okay.
So I stole it and revamped it. I made it better for her, so she's only got to thank me.
No, because I mean, you could feel. It seems as if Ted, wants to be a rebel, right? It's not really that he wants to be a rebel, but situation is forcing him into rebellion, and then he's putting on this pirate's costume, which is not really, really a partial costume, and he doesn't really have that look of rebellion, but then. Melinda's songs, which the Jezebella,
It's the pace.
set the pace
Yeah.
and give it that halo of rebelliousness,
Yep.
and it was pushing him along.
That's
like,
right, that's right.
Like, there's I'm the sea, you are the pilot, you are the captain,
That's
and,
correct. And
yeah.
I think the other song, Caught in the Middle,
Caught in the
this is
Middle,
when
yeah.
the reveal happens in the kitchen.
That's correct.
And it goes to a flashback in the 90s. Caught in the Middle, you could
Yeah.
have put that on in the 90s and it
Yeah.
wouldn't have been out of place.
That's correct.
Especially that scene, that instrumental scene. I thought, I've got to use that.
Yeah.
On the phone to her again. Can I use this
Yeah,
one?
yeah.
I think I've used 5 in total.
Wow,
Haven't I used
yeah,
5
I
in
think
total?
so, yeah, 5 in total.
5
It's
in
all there in the
total.
credits. Wow.
And every one of them is perfect for the for the series.
That's just fun. That's really, really fantastic.
Because her genres, if she was just one genre, it wouldn't have worked. But she's all over the
no,
place.
no.
She,
Yeah,
she doesn't
yeah.
know where she is in life.
Yeah, no, it's good. It feeds.
She's our very own Alanis Morissette, is
Yeah,
what she is.
it feeds into the movie. It's the same thing with you, that you are the actor, script writer. You're just crossing all the genres.
Yeah, she's the same, but
so
in
it's
music.
the same. So it fits into the theme of the pilot itself. In fact, even the characters, Ted, especially, he's a ventriloquist, entertainer, the mechanical engineer. Jumping around all over the place. So everything really ties together, and that's what makes the pilot.
I think she's
having a
similar to
unique
me in
edge.
character.
Okay.
She can't do the same thing in her
No,
life.
it's good.
Can you?
Yeah.
I can't do the same thing. I can't do this. I had to, when I came out of my apprenticeship,
Yeah.
I had to operate for a year.
Okay.
And that involved me doing the same thing, unpacking
Okay.
the same machine for a whole year.
Oh, right.
Drove myself nuts. I used to
Okay.
do it crying sometimes because
Okay.
it just drove the same thing. It used to drive me
Okay.
nuts. And I can't do the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's why my wife is perfect for me as well, because she allows me. They say behind every idiot is some wife pulling their hair out,
Yeah.
and this is definitely the case. Yeah.
All right. It's
So
really
she allows me
unfortunate that we only see her behind the camera, not in front. She's the gaffer. Set
She's
up
the mum
shot.
in. She's the.
Oh,
she's
really?
Ted's
Yeah,
ex-wife.
that's it. Yeah.
She didn't want much of a role. She
All
didn't want-
right.
but she's Ted's
okay.
ex-wife.
All right, but
So
did I say that
my
in the
kids are
credits?
actually cuddling their real mum.
All
so,
right,
yeah.
but not the real dad.
Oh, no, not
right.
real dad. No, dad's
All
behind
right.
the camera saying, "Oh, don't call him
Okay.
dad. I'm your dad."
All right, yeah. I don't think they'll be happy with the dry humping scene at all. No, not at all.
I don't think she was very happy with the dry. Yeah, she wasn't very happy with it either.
Yeah.
It's my idea. I don't care.
All right. Yeah. I mean, you used to be, according to the pilot. I mean, you're filmmaker, adult filmmaker. So
Yeah. My character is. Yeah, I wasn't an ex-adult filmmaker.
no, I said the character.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
character, yeah.
Is there a particular reason why you made that character an ex? Because I was thinking that the only reason so far that I've seen is because of that joke. That if this is
it feels like
comforting.
he's filming something rude,
Yeah.
and he ends up. It's not filming anything rude, is
No, not at all. But he was able to supply the joke that if you want to know how so-so-so's on the side is like that is the only thing that ties him to the adult movie making.
I would say
so
he dabbles in it. He wants, or maybe he wants to dabble in it, or maybe he's got too old for it, or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
He's just a pervert idiot.
Why do you particularly want to lead this on to a series? Why not a feature-length movie?
That's been mentioned a lot. A lot of people have said that could just make a feature-length movie. And you know what? I could do that. I could just extend what I've done so far to a feature-length movie. But I feel it's got multiple layers, and I like the idea of someone having to wait a week to see what's happening next. I would like every episode to have a shock in it.
That's correct. Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
And with a film, you just need a couple of shocks to the end.
That's correct.
Needs another 40 minutes to make that a film.
Yeah.
Which I could do, but a part of me likes the idea of having someone go, God, I can't wait till next week.
Yeah.
You know, so that's basically.
Yeah.
I'm not saying no to it.
Yeah. In the history of Hollywood, films, when they started initially, they were going down the route of 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, but people now felt that you want to keep people in the theaters for 4 hours, 5 hours. No. So that is why, because film started in the theaters, not necessarily something you watch at home.
Well, everything started in the theatres. You'd go and watch TV in the theatres.
In the theatres in those days. Yeah. So they said, we have to trim films down to maximum of 2 hours, 1.5 hours, to be able to keep people's attention.
I can't get on with that.
Then there was this explosion of this on-demand platform.
Yes.
We've got Netflix, we've got Disney, we've got BBC iPlayer.
And what they're doing, binge watching it all day, aren't they?
So now, what Hollywood, couldn't pull off 70 years ago, now they're pulling it off. Now it's almost that everything has to be a series.
But the thing is, it's all about watching it at home, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we love the cinema, and we love how that, the big screen and the environment, but we don't want to be there for 3 hours.
No.
So when you binge watch, you can sit at home all day on the sofa. In your pants.
8 hours, 14 hours, 24 hours. I've seen it before, binge watching.
Yeah.
So I think, do you think that's the future? That's the future of screen?
I don't think so. I still love to go to the movies and watch something on the big screen. I think they've got their own place in the world. I think episodes have got their place and movies have still got their place in the world. I would still go to a cinema and watch an hour and a half film, 2 hour film. I can't get on with The Hobbit or anything like that. It's too long. Drives me nuts. I could just about get through the first ones, obviously Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
And, but they're just too much for me.
Yeah.
So The Hobbit would just drive me nuts. But then again, there are some other films that I love that are really long, but I can't think of any at the moment.
The way they pull it off now is through two things. It's the storyline and the editing. It's got to be like what you did. Pace it 4 or 5 seconds, It's not like all those Woody Allen shots where almost you can have a scene like 5 minutes. A shot 5 minutes and, although he sustains attention through the dialogue, the gags, and that's how he sustains attention. But if you have a dialogue that's quite dry and it's going to be action-packed, so he just pace the whole thing, maximum of 7 seconds, then you just pace it on. So that's
I
how
had
they
to
go
shorten
around
down
it.
quite a few scenes. The scene that you mentioned before, a few days ago, you mentioned the scene that's just filming the hall. Just focusing on the hallway. There's loads going on. The guy's coming down the stairs, or Ted's coming down the stairs. He's looking for Ryan. That was twice as long. But I felt that I was showing off a camera trick, because I had him appearing. I had him going into doors and coming out the other door and stuff like that. I had two Teds in one shot sometimes.
I saw that. I saw that.
But I had that a lot more. I had it a lot more.
Okay.
And it was just a little bit too long. I throughout the whole process, I've been asking people, "What do you think on this? What do you think on this?" And a couple of people, if a couple of people mention the same thing, then I know they're onto something. So I reeled it in. They said, "I feel that bit's a bit too long. It's drifting away from you want the story to start going, and you just kept it going a little bit too long." So I cut it. And that's happened in a couple of bits. The sitting down on the chair, they're just literally having a conversation on a sofa. I think that's an 8-minute scene.
Oh, right, okay.
And I think because you need to know what's being said, that you're into it and it doesn't feel like 8 minutes.
Okay.
But when you see it on paper, you think that's got to be shorter. That's got to be a lot shorter.
Yeah, that's true.
We did shorten it, but not as much as...
Yeah, I think, shorter scenes, but several ones, they're very, very powerful. They're very effective in sustaining attention and driving the plot forward. Just to make an analogy with the Martin Scorsese Taxi Driver, the phone scene that I mentioned. In fact, you improved the shot by adding this dissolve, because you're trying to show Ted that, Sally has called, has booked him for a gig, and he was hurrying to go there, looking around, trying to dress up and so on and so forth. So in order to kind of compact time, you then introduce this dissolve, which is an improvement on Martin Scorsese's shot, brilliant shot in The Taxi Driver. I really enjoyed that.
Thank you very much. I agree with it. That's exactly what I was trying to achieve. I wanted them to know, I want the audience to know that he was looking all around the house.
Yeah.
But I didn't want that amount of time to be used in looking around the house.
Yeah.
So I just had a number of him looking around the house.
Yeah, looking around the house, yeah. And you just, at first, you had this single shot. Yeah,
and then that shot gradually zooms into the case.
Yeah, that's correct.
Then you think, why is it zooming into that case?
Yes.
Then he bursts back in.
He bursts back in,
You realise the case is reasonably important in the story.
That's setting it up, So I was thinking that maybe you should have used such a kind of shot, to set up the tap theory and the drink the children were drinking in front. Just
right.
Yeah, because it won't come across that the title of the pilot, the tap theory, has a link to what the children were drinking.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
And the problem I got is permission.
Okay.
I've contacted Coca-Cola. Okay. I don't even know if I'm meant to be saying their name, but I contacted the leading brand of Coke, and they said write to us.
Okay.
We take our brands very seriously. I said I'm not discrediting the brand in any way. I just want to use it as it was motivation for a kid. It was inspiration for a kid.
Yeah.
So and they said that shouldn't be a problem. So I wrote to them, never got a reply back. Along with Charlton Athletic and the scarf.
Okay.
I'm a Charlton Athletic fan.
All right.
I used to be their mascot for 10 years.
Oh.
And I even wrote to those guys, and they never even got back.
Yeah, the problem is they won't understand the importance of this until they see the success everywhere, and they will start coming back to you and say, oh, yeah.
That's all right.
You can do
that's
that.
why I had to be pretty shrewd with the way they held the bottle.
Okay.
So people from my age,
right.
I'm 47, I remember that coming out and thinking, oh, that's a clear drink, drinking it in its Coke. So I remember being shocked by it. People younger than that haven't got a clue what's going on. Haven't got a clue.
Yeah.
But as he takes a sip, Ryan takes a sip and puts it away, you can just about work out that it says tab on that drink.
Yeah.
So he's using that theory, the theory that he's that they've managed to make Coke clear. He's used that in his head. He's thinking that's invisible,
Right. Yeah.
Very loose, and I'm happy for that title to be changed.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be too attached to the title, even though I like it.
I mean, tap theory is okay.
It sounds good.
Yeah,
sounds good.
good. They should keep it tap theory.
Yeah, I don't want to be too attached to it.
Okay.
Because there may be a company comes along and says, yeah, we like the idea, we like the plot, but we want to change the title. So then I'm trying to prepare myself for that, by not coming up with that great a title,
Yeah. Speaking of disappearance, how did you pull off that optical trick?
Okay, right. I've done it.
Oh, is that a secret?
No. Originally, I had a pair of glasses with green lenses.
Okay.
And on the trial, we were bringing the glasses down in front of the camera.
Yep.
Worked really well.
Oh, all right. So it's not editing trick.
In the end, I photoshopped a pair of spectacles and made those glasses green and did it that way. So it's graphics, blurred it out a bit so it looked more natural, and it came out clearer than the original glasses in the end. So that's basically it. So the key to it all, keep the camera very still, add the shake afterwards.
Oh. All right.
If you keep the camera still, same with the case scene with the case talking.
Yeah.
That is a drill with a bent bar in it.
Okay.
moving by itself,
All
lifting
right.
that up.
Okay.
And I'm just recording it. I've recorded it with a lighting that makes it dark inside so you can't see the drill moving.
All right.
And then I've basically, I kept the camera still, filmed it for a while, and then I sped it up, slowed it down, reversed it. So,
All right.
so it would talk basically like when it was talking.
Oh, all right.
Just,
That's really amazing. That's a clever trick.
It's all about, the key is keep that camera still. If you keep it still,
Okay.
you can do literally anything to it.
Oh, okay.
Add the movement later.
That's really nice to know.
And that was, I'm not blowing my own trumpet. I just self-taught myself that. Just
Yeah.
worked it out myself.
Mechanical
over
engineering
years.
background.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I just
that's
felt.
what I mean.
I just felt with the editing that if I keep it still, then surely I can move it and make people disappear. So
right.
like him disappearing on a sofa. Mm-hmm. That's a scene where they shot together. Then I just got him a step away for 10 seconds,
Yeah.
and then I used that clear side of the sofa and merge it in and out with him.
Yeah.
So he looks like he's disappearing. Every time he lifts his glasses up, he disappears and he puts them back down.
Yeah.
Same in the toilet scene when he's leaning against the thing. He's
Yeah.
disappeared. He puts the glasses back on. He reappears. So
Yeah. What's driving that character Chris to want to destroy or take over Ted?
that's a very good point, and I've already told the actor, which is Alex Lippic. His name is.
He acted like a good Bond villain.
He's very good, very well spoken.
Yeah,
very
good
slimy.
Bond
We call
villain,
him slimy.
What is driving Chris to go extra length to want
It's
to
a natural
destroy?
thing. It's a natural thing. He's living with the kids now, so he obviously thinks.
He already has everything: the kids, the house, the ex.
Yeah, he's
Then
got the
why
fame as well.
want to
'cause
destroy the career again? Like,
he's been found. He's that talent scout.
Okay.
That's why he's with her, the talent
Okay.
scout in the
Alright.
room, because she's found him. So he's starting to make success. So
Yeah.
he's just basically full of himself. He's full of
Okay.
himself. He's
Alright.
now with this person.
Alright.
He knows it annoys him.
all right.
He knows it annoys Ted, so he's just a bit slimy with it. Look what I've
Okay.
got, and look
Look
what are
what
you
you've got.
doing? What are you doing, dressed up as a pirate?
Yeah. Final question. What lessons have you learned in the production and the post-production, the shooting, the everything? What lesson have you? Any lessons at all?
I've learnt a lot about lighting.
Okay.
I've learnt, actually, I don't know if I've learnt anything about lighting. I've learnt that I don't know anything about lighting. It's what I've learnt. I've learnt to try and sit back and get other people to do some roles for me.
Okay.
Because obviously when I'm filming a wedding, I'm one-man band from start to finish.
Yeah.
So towards the end, I thought I'd be able to do it all by myself, but I ended up getting it graded. I ended up getting the sound guys on it to do the proper sound effects and things like that,
Right.
which just took it to another level, really.
Oh, okay.
I've also learnt to use industry editing software because I've used the same software for 20 years. All right, when I used it, it was number 1. Now it's on number 25. But this is software that I couldn't easily send to the grader, I had to send it to them as a made film for them to piece together. If I'd used industry standard software, I would have been able to send them a file which had everything they needed to work on it easier. So that's what I'm going to head to now. You start using industry standard. But I've attempted it before. I can edit very fast. I don't know why, but I've always been able to edit very fast. And what puts me off with going to industry standard is I know I'm going to slow myself down 3 times.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think you should exit in industry standard and don't want to be the head. Be like.
My plan is for the last wedding of the year to edit it with the industry standard software because I know I've got all the time in the world to do it, and that's what I'll do, and I'll gradually learn that way and go over to it.
So in what way has the editing wedding pictures, videos affected or informed or add value to your editing of this pilot? Or there's no relationship at all?
I think it's the speed. I think people were blown away on how quickly I could shoot this. I shot this in a Saturday and a Sunday, and I had people watching it on the Wednesday. I'd finished the editing. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't perfect, but I'd finished. It was watchable, and from the untrained eye, they would have just thought it was done by the Wednesday. And I've always been able to do that. I've always been able to, because I'm in charge for in every department.
Yeah, you don't have to wait.
I'm not sending it to a department who've never seen it before.
Yeah, okay.
I've seen it. I know what I've just shot. Yes, we've used the clapperboard and we've numbered every scene up and we've named every scene up. But even if they weren't numbered up and named up, I know what we've shot. So I knew where to go. I knew what angle I was going to get, and I knew even how it looked just by it being a thumbnail on a screen. So
it's quite coincidental that Quentin Tarantino's editor is called Sally as well.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So, and before every take like that, they normally say, hello, Sally, hello, Sally, before every take. And Quentin said the reason why they put that is that this lady edits in the middle of the night, and the editing process is kind of tedious.
She doesn't feel alone.
So that she doesn't feel alone, something to cheer her up. So
that's
before
really
every
good.
shot, they say, hello, Sally, everybody say, hello, Sally. So that's to cheer her up.
That's really good. That's a really good thing to do.
Yeah,
really
because
good.
the editing process is one of the most important. Yeah, but at the same time, it is so much mentally tasking and so lonely that, they want to cheer her up by...
In the TV world, I believe the editor to be the most powerful person in the TV world. Take Big Brother, for instance. I could make anyone win Big Brother. You could, because everyone has a bad day.
That's correct.
You decide as an editor whether you want to focus on that bad day or not.
That's right. That's true.
And you decide whether you want to focus on a one arsehole having one good day.
Yeah.
He could win it based on the good day.
That's true. It's all about...
The power is in the editor.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. Well, it's brilliant talking to you, Mr. Simon Borek. Congratulations.
This podcast has been brought to you by Snugdubs Camper Van Hire.
Roam the world, park anywhere.
That's snugdubs.co.uk.